Good morning, you guys. It is May 9th, and it is just now getting sunny enough so the quality of the video goes down, but it's a nice morning. If you notice, I got a puffy eye. That was from this colony yesterday. This is, again, just leaving swarm traps open, and I left it open intentionally. Here's some mulberries from this morning. I was just going to clean up the rest. It is definitely drying out for the summer. The the rain isn't going to come in time to keep a lot of this stuff going. So I haven't harvested much squash, only because I don't eat it. So those are going to seed. But what else? There's a little blueberry coming back. I snapped its stem. The apples are getting bigger. They should be coming off soon. Looking nice. It's been pretty amazing that this mulberry has just kept going and kept going. It's a solid couple months of fruit, so I'm gonna clean up what's left over there and take it to the chickens. So I also have to harvest some blueberries this morning. That's on the agenda. This one's almost done though. Here's some the pecan grafts that took, although it's not coming out of the graft. So I might try and leave all three. Somebody can give me a recommendation if that's ill-advised, but I know the crotch angle would be really bad, but I figure I might be able to work with it. So yeah, the peaches are done on this one. There's just a few maybe on the other tree. I was needing to harvest every day, so it was kind of tricky. But the tomatoes are starting to come in, so here's some sun gold. There's a lot more sun gold over by the chicken run. I see some jungly things that I might get to before I head out, so that's another big thing. I'm heading out this summer, gonna detach from this place for a month, and that'll be really good to just allow things to live and let live, live and die. Here's that urbanite, and you can take a look. It's kind of weird light, but it's a nice space, a nice big bench here. Didn't have to break any of it. I need to hold onto this instead of leaving my tools out. Here's another pecan graft that looks like it'll push, and there's a few tucked around. The bees are doing pretty well. There's a lot of swarming. Some new roses, paradise. It's a nice fragrant one. Everybody's blinded by the light. Here's some avocados. It's always cool to see avocados on the tree. I've got a couple bigger ones right there, and some squash that's already passed, going to seed. I'm doing blueberries harvesting every other day because I hardly make it out here, but it's been probably 3 or 4 cups every day. Oh my gosh, that looks like a swarm. These bees, I have to get rid of these bees. I have too many bees. I'm going crazy. I have 3 other swarms. So I caught a swarm yesterday from somebody just called me out of their backyard, and then I have one that's like across the street that way in a box, and then the one under the covered area, one out in Manville, and they just keep coming. So I'm gonna remember this. It's too heavy. So here's the gherkin. Now this is Mexican gherkin right here. This little guy. And you see how the gherkin is just dominating this trellis. My friend Jacob, if he sees this, he'll really appreciate it. So this was, oh man, I don't know how to explain it. It was a great example of how to garden, how I garden. These were little plugs, little maybe 4-inch plants. And I tucked them in back in February, maybe March. Sorry, I should talk to the camera. So I tucked them in back when it was full of cleavers, full of henbit, cool season stuff. And this is about knowing your plant. So the Mexican gherkin can grow in full shade. It can grow, you know, it's a weed. It can really handle low light level. And so I put them in back when there was soil moisture. And all I did was, when I remembered it, I would come in and I would snip a few leaves around them to make sure that they got a little more light, a little bit of light. And so it's kind of like that more subtle interaction can lead to a stronger plant, and it's going to be a good yield. I don't actually eat many of these. I ate some last night, but they're good. My friend Jacob, he sells them to restaurants, so that's why I'm growing this, to send to him. But there's going to be more over here. And like here's the big pepper vine. Just can come in. Well, I guess you can't see because of the light, but just come in and snipping it out allows the gherkin to win out in the end. So we'll get some more of those, and this thing will be covered. Let's see. Oh, the figs. I bet you we can find ripe figs. Let me eat these tomatoes. Yeah, follow the flies. So I gotta eat this tomato first. And I gotta remember not to point you guys into the light. This beastly fig. Alright, let's find some shade. Dun dun dun. So yeah, LSU Gold, pretty big fig. And it's a good one. Nice and ripe and soft. And I really don't think I'll get many figs, but you know, celebrate what you get. So here's a cool, I don't know, these are strong plants, so we'll see if this squash can make it through the vine borers. It's a zucchini, and maybe because it's a stronger one, I'll harvest. I've already missed, there's, you know, old squash, but I definitely could get some more. But I was going to say that tomato there, you know, that's up, pushing 7 feet tall, they're growing in the shade. And that's the other, you know, lesson here for Houston, is to really appreciate the different light levels, the nuanced levels of light. Hold on, another good fig. And squash is for sure a shade plant here. The full sun ones out on the drive are already kicking it, but tomato is really good. If that sun wasn't so harsh, you'd see there's a good fruit set and everything inside. So anyway, on with the tour. Got my hands full. I'm gonna set this fig down. I'll come back for that. More blueberries, so yeah, gotta do more picking. And here, if I pulled this pepper vine out, I would knock off most of the ripe fruit. So I'm gonna wait until after the season, and then I might even, for a lot of things, I don't pull the vines. I just cut them, like with the gherkin. Cut them and leave them and let it, it's a more gradual transition for the plant that you want. Here's some good kumquat flower about to open up, so a lot of buds. I forget you guys have to be close because of the GoPro. And oh look, a little tree cricket. And so there's that. There's the rabbit barrier, the only way I can get any eggplant at all. Some more strong squash that maybe even is too strong, let's say. I rather would have, this is Zingiber officinale, but mainly this regrowth on the citrus is kind of important to me. So we might just have to call that squash. But this is the strongest tomato on the property. It's a Sweet Million, and the fruit set is pretty good. I'm gonna have to show you how wide. So out here, taller than I can reach. That's about 8 feet, I guess. And it's got a little time left. It's got some good fruit set. It's got some ripe fruit down at the bottom there. You can go around and see, but that is all a result of how deep this mulch pile was. So if you see this, you know, the stone wall, it actually is about level with the stone wall, and so that's like 2 feet of leaves, and it's been, you know, it wasn't just started this spring. That pile has been going and been added to for a while. So let's get in here and grab some of these before the possums and rats find out about them. And there's actually another big cluster down there. Anyway, I can't really harvest one-handed. So in the colonies, I need to open them up. That was kind of cool, flying to the camera. Just because it's getting a little hotter. Here's the falsa berry. So check this out. Sorry about that. I'm gonna get to try some. It looks like. See right there. So that'll be pretty cool. Get some new fruit. I'm still doing some planting, which is pretty crazy to think. I got a pepper in the back of my truck, and that's holy basil. Here's moringa coming up strong in the sun. It'll look nice. And what else? I cut a lot of light for this mulberry right here. So that's a Persian. It's a grafted one that really struggled. That kumquat's about to explode in bloom as well. I'm running the loofah on this side. Since I'm not posting the other video, I have to repeat some things. But anyway, loofah is a really great plant for growing up in the shade. It can do lower light than some other things can. So like, I ran passion fruit on this, or tried. I should talk to the camera. I tried to run passion fruit on this, and too much shade. But I've seen loofah come up in the middle of the trees at that end, at this end, like pretty deep shade. And basically once it, you know, it takes all summer because it's a slow grower in the shade, but then it's up for the fall, and the fall's when all of the fruit gets set. These flowers, if it does make a few loofah, so that is a female flower and there's some males, it's gonna be like maybe one or two, but in the fall, be some serious fruiting. I'm just trying to show them where to go. And then there's the giant passion fruit on the other side. Forget about that light angle. We can't look that way. More emerald. Y'all saw the blueberry video. It's because of these big guys. That's why it's the best. A lot of extra big ones. So let's go this way, set some fruit down. Okay, have to go back for that. So yeah, we have this nice fog and the sun's cutting through it, but there's not a lot of moisture out here. Sorry, sun. So the Three Sisters, let's talk about that for a minute. Basically the corn is finishing up. I think I'm not going to get very good kernel size because of how dry it is, rain wise, but you see the tassels are drying. There's a good bit of squash back there, but it was not convenient to harvest, so I didn't. That's all good green bean seed right here straight ahead. And there's some cowpeas that are coming up. There's another big squash, and there, you know, quite a few squash blossoms. So there's definitely food coming out of it. If it was irrigated, it'd be twice as tall. So let's see. Oh, I've been fermenting the chicken feed. It is amazing. I should do a video on this just to be more thorough, but the chickens prefer it, like hands down. They love it. The ladies, let's see. So they're gonna get that feed in a minute. I've got one hen that's a little bit broody right here. She's not broody because she's not on the nest. But I've got a new bird right here, Miss Scarlet. And Miss Scarlet is a rescue, and man, she just right into the flock. It was like one day I put her on the perch at night, you know, with the tried to mask her scent, and she's just been on her own for a while, and she had been injured by a dog, and she needed a new flock, and she found it, and she's a cool bird, so that worked out really well. And hey, Miss Angelina. But yeah, these ladies are kicking dirt on me. I brought them some kale this morning. They're not getting out that much. So definitely, I made a good video on soldier flies a while back, but this has been running for a while. Let's see. I'm gonna grab a stick for y'all. So I gotta tilt the camera, see how the light is. You see the maggots? Chickens love maggots. And so there's hey there. It's amazing how fast they're burning through the food, because I threw peaches and, well, they're soldier flies. But what's cool about this is that the chickens just hang out in, hey, I'm making a video. They hang out here because the maggots self-harvest, and so they naturally crawl out of that muck, and so the chickens know to catch them in this area. That this is the good spot where Zena's digging. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, soldier flies. If you're in Houston, I can definitely hook you up. They're actually pretty easy to start out if you want to raise soldier flies. Just get some chicken feed if you have it, or grain like oats, and let it ferment a little bit. That's a good smell to bring them in, and put some cardboard on top, and that gives the adults somewhere to lay eggs, and yeah, and then you have soldier fly maggots. I'm gonna jump now to a clip that I made a few days ago. One of my poor chickens got turned into a snake. Dang wizard came in. How crazy. No, just kidding. But look at that guy. Isn't he beautiful? And he's so fat, full of eggs. And his mouth is still... Look at that, he still hasn't even adjusted it back. There's probably 4 or 5 eggs in there. And you are broody. This snake has yolk coming out of his nose. You ate so many you can barely move. Look at this bulge. There's 1 egg. There's 2 eggs. I feel 3. Hold on, buddy. Hold on. Look at that. There's a bubble. There's a bubble. It's an egg yolk bubble. Say bye-bye, Mr. Big Old Texas Rat Snake. Enjoy your egg dinner. I'll see you another day. So before we go to the other side, the Kiowa blackberries are coming in. So let's see, here's a nice one. Not quite really, but they're starting. You can see there's a lot of fruit, and these are unirrigated because the tanks fell over, but they still made some pretty decent sized fruit, and they're good blackberry. But I've got some new ones coming along. I got a couple little Primark Freedom, and I've been playing with Wachita. I got some of that too. So this is a real telling sign. There's not, if there was moisture in the ground, a little bit more, this would have been covered with life and activity. And this is the Chinese tallow, which is our major nectar source. There's a couple ladybugs, but and it's a little early, but basically it's not making as much nectar as it could because of how dry it is. And so man, we're really missing out on an opportunity because there are so many bees out there ready to pull it all in. So let's see. Here's some more tomatoes. This one's Juliet, and it's pretty well loaded, so I'm gonna be pulling in A lot of tomatoes. And I need to do an update video on the tomatoes at the property. This is Sun Gold. I could probably get another pint off a Sun Gold as well, because there's some clusters, and this will keep going for a while. I have to water these now, so I had that potato experiment over here. And it wasn't a valid experiment because I let it go dry, couldn't keep it wet. But I am going to harvest. I'll make a video after this on harvesting potatoes. The peanut, showing nutrient deficiency there. And basically, I don't want to rerun these pots. I don't, you know, with detaching, I know they'll be dead as a doornail. So I got to get something to hold water underneath this eggplant to keep it alive. And pretty much I'm gonna let everything else die when I leave at the end of this month. So that tomato, the big one, it's gonna be done. This, you know, it's a San Marzano, which is a larger paste tomato. It's not gonna last. You know, it's not worth irrigating. It's a lot of energy to go there and do that. But we had a good run, tomatoes, and you know, I got squash seed. Yes, I'm so lucky. y'all like food, I like seeds. But anyway, ignore the mess. We have to go around it, but I have to make equipment for the bees all the time now because there's so many dang bees. So mulberry is still going. Now Pakistan, you know, it's a really awesome cultivar. That's normal for it to go, like, we're talking 2 months of straight fruit, but this is just a seedling that's continually fruiting, you know, kind of showing a everbearing quality. So like Illinois everbearing, you know, it's just a mulberry that when it's happy, it keeps flowering. And so this is a seedling of an everbearing type. The blueberries are still good. Let's see if we get any peaches. Oh, and I got fruit set on pomegranate. I don't always get good fruit set on pomegranate. This is the Gynura that somebody asked me to talk more about. I forgot who that was. So yeah, to compare it, identical flower. The leaf is just variegated, so like, you know, the bicolor look underneath but variegated on top. And I don't have a really good 100% sure species on it, but I bought it as Gynura scandens, and it tastes the same as the others. And so yeah, I think we should eat it. Here's the poor fruit set on the Anna. It's like one apple. No, there's a couple more. There's one there and one down there, but she can do way better than that. She has in years past. So the last of the peaches. Now, I learned some good lessons this year. Mainly harvest the peaches before they're super soft, because the fruit flies, they really have gotten a lot of it. And it has been fun. This was a good year for peaches. Everybody I know, you know, good year for peaches. And these are pretty good. This is Desert Gold. So the first one was Florida Prince, and I've had a lot of fun, you know, sharing them. I would hate to sell stuff from this place. It's a different energy. So it's a freely you have received, freely give kind of mentality. This is wild lettuce, and I think that's impressive, getting up 8 feet tall. And apparently you can lance it, and the sap is kind of opioid. Let's see, some loofah growing out on its own. Gotta clean up this rose. I think this graft did not take, it did not. But it's kind of a jungle. Let's go back this way. So here's a little bit too much shade for this tomato. But peppers can do shade. That's more for, you know, lack of irrigation than anything else. Let's see. Star fruit doing well. Oh, here. So here's a purple Dioscoriolata, purple winged yam or ube yam, and it's spiraling up the tree, and it's gonna make a nice pot buster. And I have papaya popping up all over the place. I could have showed you like back in the Three Sisters. It's from the compost, man. I think that's the greatest trick ever, is to just get papaya seed mixed into your compost, and then you'll have an abundance of papaya trees to deal with. So here's one that I just did recently. So this is a curry, Mariah Canigia, and I had it in too much sun and it was making me sad. I put it out by the driveway, but I didn't know. I thought, hey, you know, it's from India, it must love full sun. But nope. It definitely was showing me, look how yellow it is, like bleached. That's a harsh, but anyway, I think it'll be fine. It was not in that spot very long. It was, you know, it was in a pot before that. So here, the avocado. I don't know if I told you guys this either. Yeah, I'm catching up on a bunch. But so this had root rot, and it was from before I even planted it. So I did the planting, and I saw the damaged roots, and so what I did is I went and I took sign material, and I've got like six 1-gallon avocados that are budded to Arizona, hedging the bets just in case this doesn't make it. But believe it or not, it looks like it appreciated a top cut, because those buds, if they push, will be good. All right, so I did pull Windsor out to get a little bit more sun, and so it's making some berries. Let's see. Not much else going on. Some more blueberries. And oh yeah, I was gonna show you guys over here. This is where that curry tree was. And I transplanted this moringa right here, so it's wilting out, but I think it'll be fine. And this is a more appropriate spot, so full sun, hot sun, moringa will be fine. I actually was debating between moringa, which is going to freeze down, or a tea tree, which might make it and be a nice big tree. So we'll see, because this is going to become veggie garden. This is my last of my really full sun, so I'm gonna make use of it. I throw pumpkins out when I grab them off the curbs, and there's another one over here that I took the time to protect this one, and look how cute they are. It's like white and green stripes, and I don't even know, I don't remember it. Well, it's getting powdery mildew, and probably it also has that squash vine borer moth larva in it. But there's a few little decorative pumpkins just from tossing them out. And I threw a big old, see this stick right here? It was part of that moringa. That's what saved its life from the chickens. And then obviously saving the eggplant, which is actually ready. I need to take this now. Come on. So got some eggplant. Using the blue, those are leaf miner traps to help with this regrowth, because it's going to be flushing for a while, so really trying to protect that. And there's a little roselle. There it is. So this guy right here is getting swamped by the gherkin. That's going to be big and making some nice stuff by the end. It was good to see the gallon gall. Did I show you guys this? I don't think I did. So this is a pretty wild, you know, trellis. Has got a lot of the pepper vine, but it's got cucumber too. You know, cucumber's a tough plant. I need to get these in as well. These are national picklings, so they're not going to be huge. This is about full size for it, maybe a little bigger, but these are ready too. But anyway, cucumber, can hold its own if you get it established before the heat. It's not really like a super hot and definitely not a dry plant, but there's deep mulch and shade. So the one that I was really hoping to grow, where's the jicama here? So this is jicama, and I got it the earliest start, and it was too dang early, a little chilly and a little sunburned. And then I threw in some cucumber, and it's doing its thing because it's all the way up here. And then it's really pepper vine and passion vine. So this passion vine, you know, there's the flower, that's the weed that has value. They all have value. And you just keep feeding them mulch and organic matter. And did I show you the fruit set on these pineapple guava? It was really strong. There's a ton of flowers from pineapple guava this year. And yeah, so I'm setting down my fruit over there. I got my peach. Anyway, all right, so that was my attempt at keeping y'all updated. There's just a lot of cool things to show. Sorry for choosing a poor time of day. The light's a little crazy, but the garden is growing, and life is good. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.